Mic 234 checking. Audio. Audio check. 234 audio. Audio 234 check 2. So Taylor and once again, a broken play at the plate brings over the runs, and the Prospects bring across another run here in the top of the first. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check 2, 3, 4. There is no audio currently. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. No audio. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She's on the phone, so I had to hang up.
Okay.
I'm going to have her text.
I got audio check 1, 2, 3, 4 on audio. We're on audio check 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio check audio 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, we are checking here to determine whether we are live or not. Well, I think we've got that worked out now. There was a little bit of a latency and some light delay there. So once again, I want to apologize to everybody. We'll get caught back up on the innings and the official scoring. Stay with us. So Manavong ends up with a single, tries to take two, and ends up getting thrown out, so they put up their first out. So Manavong's off the bases, and that brings up Dre Murakami. Murakami will step in facing Jones for the first time here this afternoon. We think the audio's back up and running as Jones goes upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Once again, we apologize for a little bit of a challenge there on the audio piece, which can be frustrating at times, but nonetheless, we get it corrected now. We're good to go for the rest of the tournament. Murakami, left side, cuts it foul and out of play. The count goes to 1-1. The Knights Nation behind the plate. Harvey over on the third base side. You've got Hill. In the 4 spot, you've got Lee over in the 5 spot. Wesleyan in the 6 spot, shortstop. Taylor. And we'll round it out here in just a moment for you. Brooks to deal. Pitch on the way. Fastball on the outside. The count goes to 2-1. Over in the 7 spot, you've got Daly. And in the 8 spot, Nasser. Over in the 9 spot on the right side, you've got Clark. That's the defensive side for the nice Knation club. Pitch on the way. Ball up and out. The count goes to 3-1. So Murakami will step back in with a 3-1 count. Our head umpire this afternoon, Gary behind the plate, working with his partner Steve down on the first base side. Murakami, left side, gets through the 5-6 hole. A well-hit ball, solid rip there. And Murakami will check up at first base. Coach Ronnie working down on the first base side for the club. Coach Trey over on the third base side. Murakami gets on board for the prospects. They put a runner on here in the top of the second frame. It's a 3-0 affair. Cameron Walters will step in. And Walters hitting in the 10 spot with Murakami over on the first base side. Ball is low, a good stop behind the plate. Harvey keeps that out in front, and the count is 1-0. And a well-hit ball. That could drop in, and it does. Murakami will move up 90 feet to second. Walters gets on board with a single. So the prospects in the top half of the first frame brought over 3. Jordan Leon with the long ball. He cleared the yard, and the 2-run shot there. And a pass ball, they were able to bring over another run. Blaylock will step in with Walters over on the first base side. Murakami at second. Good stop behind the dish. As I mentioned, we're very shallow here. This field, beautiful complex, Oak Villa Park, just outside of Baton Rouge proper, just in the area here, just outside of, about an hour away from the New Orleans Louis Armstrong Airport. But they play softball here as well, so we're very shallow behind the plate. A pass ball can be your enemy, as they experienced the Knights Nation did in the first part of the first frame, and ball can carry them up the third base side or first, and runners on easily for them to score. So Blaylock with a good lead. Defense is ranged up. 1 out. Top of the second, 3-0 prospects. Brooks ready to deal. A long look at second on Murakami. Shortstop pulls up. Ball's cut foul, straight back, and out of play. So Blaylock, an 0-1 count on him. And a strike on the outer third, a good location there. Brooks dials one in. And the count goes to 1-2. as Blaylock steps back in. Jones taking a long look at Murakami. Shortstop Taylor in his back pocket for the Knights. He ranges up and rolls off. The ball's hit to the second baseman. They get one there in the advancing runner. And not in time. So safe at first on Blaylock. But Walter's out at second, so they get the force there. So Charlie gets on board with a single, but they pick up the out at second. And Murakami will end up at third. Runners at the corners. So Victoria will step in. Mateo with an opportunity in the prospects here in the top of the second. Hit and run right to first base. Monster right in the glove. So an easy play there down the first base side. The prospects, though, they'll leave one in the corners. Hill makes the play. We'll turn the side over. 3-0. We'll head to the bottom half of the second. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The 2025 perfect game, Louisiana Super Regional NIT. Chris Aller with the call. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action here. Manavong will stay on the mound for the prospects as we head to the bottom half. And behind the plate, taking some warm-up tosses, Cameron Walters for Nateo Victorio. Victorio had a shot right down the first base side into the glove for Knights Nation, and Taylor, he took care of the third out. Victoria will get his gear on and be ready to go. So he'll saddle up, and Manavong will be ready to go here. So Taylor will step in. We're ready to go here. And the count is 0-1. Good pitch there, like a slider. And the count goes to 0-2. And ball's fouled off there. Taylor will stay alive here, and another opportunity. Victoria took one off the gear. So a full count, 3-2 count here. As Manavong swing and a miss there, gets the K. And Manavong picks up a strikeout there. So back to action. So a 2-0 count to the 5-hitter. Nasser steps in. Manavong ready to deal. We're in the bottom of the second, 3-0 prospects. And a ball's cut foul outside to the right, and no play there. And the count goes to 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch for Manavong. High pop fly, and infield deep. Coming in from center field is Trey Lawrence. And Lawrence will pull that in for the second out. So Lawrence, they get the second out on the books here. The 7-hitter steps in. 6-hitter Jones, right side foul. The count is 0-1. And an 0-1 count to the batter Jones, I mentioned, hitting in the 6th spot. Jones, the pitcher of record for Knights Nation here. Bases empty, 2 down. And a strike on the inner third, gets the low part of the zone called. Manavong will work ahead here, and the count is 0-2. And a ball hit hard right back to center field, on board with a single, and a well-hit ball there. And Brooke Jones gets a rip right up the middle and finds himself on board with a single. Washington will step in, hitting in the 7 spot. Jones over on the first base side with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Prospects leading this one 3-0. And Victorio keeping that out in front, and the count is 1-0. And once again, our sincere apologies. We've had some issues dealing with some audio connectivity and working through it. From what I understand, we're good to go now. Washington locked and loaded. Brooks over on first, on the move. Victorio with a good throw down the line. The tag is on. And Brooks gets in under the tag. Jordan Leon over at shortstop for the club laid the tag on. And Brooks, with good wheels, he had an early jump, finds himself 90 feet to second, and the count goes to 1-1. A 1-1 count for Washington. Leon in his back pocket, Brooks at second. And a strike called there. Manavong will work ahead here. The count is 1-2. Our head umpire today, I mentioned Gary, working with Steve on the infield, doing some great work for Perfect Game here this weekend. Manavong ready to deal. Leon at short, ranges up. High fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. So that'll do it. They'll leave one on. Brooks with a good stolen bag, but they can't convert him. We'll head to the top of the third. The ZT Prospects 14U national team leading this one. The 2024 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT. Chris Aller with the call. We will be right back. So Brooks stays on the hill for Knights Nation as we head to the top of the third frame. And the prospects, as I mentioned, leading this one 3-0. So throw down to second, we'll be ready to go, as leading things off will be Jordan Leon. Leon's last at bat, he went deep out of the park over on the left field side for a 2-run home run, as Leon will step in and facing Brooks here for the second time. So Jordan will step in, Coach Ronnie down to the first base side, and Trey working down on the third base side for the club. We're ready to go. And Brooks locates on the outer third, gets the strike called. The count is 1-0, correction 0-1. And a ball just missing low and out, and Leon lays off, and the count goes to 1-1. And a hard hit ball down the third base side. Jordan with good speed, he'll round first, he's going to go hard. A little bobble in left field, and Leon in with a stand-up double. So after a home run and a 2-run shot, Jordan Leon finds himself at second. So a double for Leon will bring up with no outs in the top of the third frame. On deck for the prospects, Trey Lawrence. Lawrence's last at bat on board with a soft single, got down the line quickly. As Barbarita steps in, Brooks works from the stretch. Taylor in close on him with good speed in Jordan Leon. A long look for Brooks, pitch on the way. Barbarita, ball is deep, center fielder will have a play, gets under it and reels it in. They tag up a long throw, and Jordan Leon wisely gets back to second, and an excellent throw in from center field. And Leon was halfway to third and immediately shut it down and headed back to second. So a long fly out for Barbarena. He'll have a seat, and that'll bring up Trey Lawrence. So Leon at second. Second baseman in tight on him, and Brooks here from the stretch. He'll step off and reset. Lawrence steps out. Opportunity here for the prospects with the man in scoring position. It's a 3-0 affair. We're in the top of the third. Game number 1 of 2 here in pool play action, day 1. And a ball just missing on the outer third of the plate. The count goes to 1-0 to Trey Lawrence. You're enjoying the 2025 Louisiana Super Regional NIT. Time is called. It's granted at the plate. Gary gave it to him. Doesn't always have to happen. Sometimes the umpires won't grant it, and a pitch will come through, and a batter will step out, and a strike will be called. Gary puts it back in play. Second baseman, as I mentioned, in tight on the base side. Chopper there, that gets through, so kind of looked like a check swing down the line quickly, and excellent speed in Trey Lawrence. So Leon will move over 90 feet to third. And as checking up on the swing there, actually made contact and got through on the side for Brooks. He couldn't glove it, and that brings in Brody Taylor. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Runner goes. Taylor hit and run. That ball's deep. Center fielder in a good way. Long ways to go. Both of them together colliding, and the ball is not caught So obviously some communication issue there, and coming home, the ball's a bang bang play. And back to third. And safe at third. So some solid base running for the prospects and a bang bang play at home. But Lawrence will come over, Leon will come over, and Brody Taylor ends up at third. A collision out in center and left field. Both players came together colliding, as obviously there might have been a little bit of a communication breakdown on who was taking the ball. So out on the left field side, Daly playing left, and your center fielder Vassar kind of bumping into each other, and the ball was not caught. So two more come over. Taylor ends up at third. They're checking on him. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT. Chris Aller with the call. Now back to live action. Jimmy Stout will step in. Stout with Brody Taylor at third, and an opportunity for the prospects if they bring two over here, and Taylor's triple. Cleared the bases with Lawrence and Leon. Stout left side, that'll drop in for a single and an RBI. So Jimmy Stout gets on board, finds himself 90 feet over on the first base side. Taylor will score. And that'll bring across the sixth run for the prospects here in the top of the third frame. The pitcher, Brandon Manavong, will step in. And a strike outside. Brooks will start ahead with the strike on Manavong. The count is 0-1. Ball's hit center field. That could drop in, and it will. Manavong on board with a single, and Stout will move up 90 feet to second base. So Dre Murakami will step in with Manavong at first and Jimmy Stout over at second. Taylor, the shortstop, in the back pocket of Murakami as he'll range up and roll off. And a ball hit hard, cut foul, straight back. And a strike there. Brooks gets two, and the count is 0-2. So Murakami with an 0-2 count. Murakami, second baseman, gathers. They'll get one on the force. Throw across is in time. So the Knights turn it over. They'll leave two on, but the prospects, they'll move ahead 6-0. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So Austin Lee will step in for Knights Nation. And the count is 0-1. Right side, second baseman, gathering there. Leon throws across in time. So a 4-3 put out for the first out here for Manavong and the Prospects. Another play. That gets back up the middle, so a well-hit ball there. For Harvey, he finds himself on board with a single. So Knights Nation puts Harvey on board here in the bottom of the third. They're chasing 6 to get on the boards, as Manavong and company working with 1 out. The 10-hitter Smith will step in. Manavong will work from the stretch. Jimmy Stout holding him on. Fastball is up, and the count is 1-0. Victorio communicating with his guys on the infield. Shuffling of the deck, Blaylock at second, Blaylock at short. Strike called there, and Jordan Leon moved over to second. As Manavong evens the count at 1-1. Ball is low, the count goes to 2-1. Manavong runs it upstairs. The count goes to 3-1. A little bit of breeze coming from right to left. First base over to the third base side. Pitch on the way. Fastball upstairs. Good pitch there. And Manavong gets one back. The count goes to 3-2. A full count. Batter Smith. Swing and a miss. Gets him on a strikeout. Good pitch for Manavong. Will get the K. Smith will have a seat. Patterson will step in. 2 outs. Bottom of the third. Leo over on the first base side. Throw over. And back in time. Count is 1-0. Elevates out of the zone. The count is 3-0, says our head umpire, Gary. Working with his partner, Steve, on the infield. And a strike on the outside part of the plate. And the count goes to 3-1. So Manavong makes the adjustment. Patterson steps back in with a 3-1 count. Runner at first for Knights Nation. And a strike again. Manavong back to back, locating. And the count goes full at 3-2. Manavong from the stretch. Jimmy Stout, they range up. And clipped into the gloves. Swing and right into the glove of Victorio. Fouled back, and that'll do it. They leave 1 on board. We'll head to the 4th. The Prospects leading this one. Game number 1 of 2, the 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Chris Aller with the call. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action. We're ready to go. And Cameron Walters will step in for the prospects. He'll step out quickly as Greg, our head umpire, puts it in play. Gary, we're ready to go. And Brooks starting off with a strike there. And the count is 0-1. Well hit ball to the left side and under the fence line. And Cameron Walters in hard to second. He'll be in with a stand-up double on a long ball to the left side. So Blaylock will step in with Walters over at second. Top of the order for the prospects here in the top of the fourth. Ball just missing there. The count goes to 1-0. Taylor shuffling around in the back pocket of Cameron Walters. He'll range up and move. Ball's hit to the second baseman. And a little trouble there. A good gather is in time. So good play defensively, able to stay with it. And Lee will take care of the first out. But Walters will move over to third. And that'll bring in Monster Victorio. So Nateo will step in with Cameron Walters over on the third base side. We're in the top of the fourth. If they're just joining us, it's a 6-0 affair. Jordan Leon started things off with the long ball, and that ball's fouled off to the left side. No play there. Leon in the first frame with a 2-run home run over the left field fence. And Victorio now in the prospects in the fourth frame with Walters in scoring position. Ball is just elevated. The count goes to 1-1. And a 2-1 count to Victorio as he steps out. Sunshine, perfect baseball conditions here. You couldn't ask for better conditions here in the early part of spring 2025. A lot of these clubs getting their reps in now, and these super regional NITs, the winner of these events, get an automatic bid into the national championship at the end of the season. So big tournament brings out good teams, and Brooks runs it inside, and just missing there. The count goes to 3-1. Defense is ranged up. Third baseman even at the bag. Chopper, first baseman, they cleared the base. The first baseman released as the second baseman was coming in to make the play, so there was nobody occupying first to make a play. And Victoria will get on board and bring us across the seventh run. So Walters will score, and Victoria ends up at first. Jordan Leon will step back in. And Brooks gets the strike on the outside part of the plate. Count is 0-1. It's hard to tell. Runner on the go. High throw down to second. And out at the base. So Victorio gets the tag slapped on and will find himself headed back to the dugout. A ball. So a 1-1 count at the plate. They pick up their second out. And a strike outside. So Brooks locates, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes as Leon will step back in. High fly ball, right side. Charging from right field, the right fielder pulls it in. So a high flyer for Leon, he'll fly out. And Victorio gets tagged out at second. They'll turn the side over. Prospects leading us 1-1. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th, 7-0. You're enjoying game number 1 of the 2025 14U Majors Perfect Game Super Regional NIT here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We'll be right back. Stay with us. So a defensive pitching change for the prospects, and catching as well. Behind the plate now, in the bottom of the 4th frame, Cameron Walters. Victorio will have a seat, and Nate White will step in, the right-handed hurler for the club, get some warm-up tosses, and he'll be ready to go as we start the bottom of the 4th. Game number 2 coming up for the prospects. They're scheduled for a 5 p.m. game, 3 o'clock and 5. And the rest of the defense is set. It's Jimmy Stout over on the first base side. Blaylock will stay at second. Barbarena, Blaylock at short, and Barbarena over at second. Jordan Leon will shift over to the third base side. Murakami at left. And Trey Lawrence at center field, and Brody Taylor rounds it out over on the right side. So the prospects in game 1 so far have got good production out of the offensive side, and Walters fires down to second. We'll be ready to go. So top of the order for Knights Nation, as Hill will step in for the club and getting things started off for his guys, trying to get some opportunities here as we're continuing to move on. We're in the 4th, bottom half. So Gary will put it in play as Hill steps in. We're ready to go. Nate to deal. And gets a strike located. The count is 0-1. And another strike, good location, gets the outer third of the plate called. And the count is 0-2. Hard hit ball, well hit. Blaylock was reaching for it. That's going all the way to the line. Into the fence, they bring it in quickly, and like that, Hill gets on board with a double. So a hard hit ball, Blaylock elevated, but that was out of his reach, and in with a double. So stepping in, Butter Clark will step in for the club. Hill over at second, Blaylock in his back pocket. Nate will work from the stretch. Ball's cut foul, straight back. The count is 0-1. And that ball gets away from White. And the count goes to 1-1. Clark steps back in. Pitch on the way. And the ball is low and misses. The count goes to 2-1. So Clark being disciplined at the plate. Looking at a 2-1 count. Hill with a leadoff knock. And a double over at second. Barberine at the second base side, shuffling around. Strike there. Nate makes the adjustment. And the count goes even to 2-2. And a ball missing on the inner third there. Low in the zone, and the count will go full to 3-2. So Clark steps back in, full count. No outs. Leadoff man at second in Brooks. Correction in Hill. Barberena at second. He ranges up. Shortstop side. Throw across is in time. They get the out. Hill will move over to third as Blaylock took a look there. And they pick up their first out here. Well, we're ready to go here as batter Daly steps in. Walters sets up behind the plate. Chopper charging. Leon, will they go to first? Yes, they do. No play there. Pick move. And Jordan was kind of having to throw a little bit off balance. And there was no play at home in Hill. He was going to score, and so Leon looked like he was taking a look there. And a single, and one run will come over at 7-1. Taylor will step in, throw over. And the count is 1-0. And the ball fouled back. The count goes to 1-1. Pass ball, that gets away from Walters, and the count goes to 2-1, and the runner will move up 90 feet. And the count at 2-1 to the batter, Nasser. Ball's pulled foul directly behind us. as Taylor takes a cut, and the count goes to 2-2. Chopper, first base side. Stout will clear the bag. Underhand toss is in time. As White rolled off the mound, and as White rolls off, he was able to make the play to Jimmy Stout, an underhand toss there, and they'll pick up the out. So they get 2 on the books here. What do you have for a count? 2-1. And a 2-1 count. Back to live action. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. And the count goes to 2-2. So Nate deals there, and a big cut at the plate. Nasser looking at the 2-2 pitch. Walters sets up. Pitch on the way. Chopper foul to the third base side and out of play. So Nasser takes a good cut. And he'll stay alive as he steps back in. We're in the bottom of the 4th frame. Knights Nation was able to bring one over as Nasser steps out. And he'll reload. With a runner at third. So a scoring opportunity here with 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch, high fly ball. Brody Taylor's having to go hard to get to it. He's all the way in foul territory. And Taylor with a grab, unbelievable, as he's into the fence line, diving, lays it out, rolls into the fence, and able to glove it. What a catch for Brody Taylor. They'll turn the side over. And Taylor, he goes ballistic into the fence, but pulls it in. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And back to live action. We'll be ready to go here momentarily as the pitcher of record, Brooke Jones, stays on the bump for Knights Nation.
4 is re-entry, 15 is done. On the mound, 5. For next team.
So Brooks will start the 5th frame And Blake Barberena will step in for the Prospects to lead off here. The Prospects here in the fifth, they'll go 4-5-6. And Barberena looking to get started for his guys. And on the other side, Knights Nation and Brooke doing a good job pitching so far. The Prospects been able to jump on a few. And he'll start ahead here. The count is 0-1. And a strike outside, so Barberena lays off. And Brooks with an 0-2 count like that. Ball to the right side, second baseman lays it out. A good grab there and not in time, but a great defensive stop. An excellent athletic move to his left, a well-hit ball, but on the move, charging over in the 4 spot was Lee, but not able to make it. And Barberena gets down the line quickly and on board. Trey Lawrence will step in. Lawrence been able to get on so far at his at-bats. And he looks at a strike. The count goes to 0-1. Barberena, a modest lead over on the first base side. And a throw over, Hill puts the tag on, and Barberena gets back. Pass ball comes off quickly, but no play there. As Harvey tried to do something with it, but again, we're shallow here behind the plate. We're only about 15 feet back, 16 feet, right on a concrete backstop. Ball can pretty much go anywhere. And Barberena at second. Lee, the second baseman, he'll roll off, and a good stop behind the plate. No throw. Lee had rolled off, and the shortstop was not in range for a throw down. As it looked like Barberena was on the move, the count's 2-1. And a ball's cut foul. And Brooks will even things up here. The count goes to 2-2. 2-2 count. And a ball's fouled. Harvey was trying to glove it and kind of clipped off his hand a little bit. And we'll go staying locked in at a 2-2 count. And Trey takes a cut, fouls it off. And the count holds it 2-2. Lawrence left side, in and out of the glove of the third baseman, a hard hit ball. And into third is Barberena. So Lawrence gets on board with a knock and finds himself with runners at the corners, and that'll bring up Brody Taylor. Taylor making an outstanding athletic grab against the fence line, literally rolled into the fence, and was able to pull in the third out for the Prospects in the bottom half of the fourth. Taylor ready to go. Lawrence at first. Pitch on the way. Looks at a strike. The count is 0-1. Barberena at third. Hill holding on Trey Lawrence. Ball hit hard to the left side, fouling out of play. The count goes to 0-2. Brooks ahead here on Taylor. We're heading right towards the 5 p.m. hour this Saturday afternoon here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Oak Villa Park. You're enjoying the 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT, the 14U Majors Division. Day number 1, pool play action, game 1. Pitch on the way, on the move, throw down to second. They'll cut it off in anticipation that Barberena may have made to try to make a move. And the count is 1-2. So Lawrence moves up 90 feet. And a ball and 2 strikes on Brody Taylor. So Harvey pulling that in, trying to frame it, but located on the outer third of the plate, and the count goes to 2-2. Taylor at shortstop in the back pocket of Lawrence, shuffling around. And the ball's cut foul straight back. And Taylor, another cut foul. And again, Taylor continues to foul off to the left side. And just looking to square something up with Barberena parked at third and Lawrence at second. The count holds at 2-2. And the ball is low. The count goes full at 3-2. And strike 3 called on the outside. Taylor thought he was on board, but he'll have a seat and Brooks will get the K. So time is called to visit out to the bump. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So Coach Rick Martinez will head down to the first base side, covering for Coach Ronnie as they shuffle the deck with coaches here this afternoon, and Jimmy Stout will step in with runners at first and second. And Stout takes a look at a strike. The count is 0-1. So Stout will step back in. And a hard hit ball. Center fielder backing up, makes a grab there. Everybody will tag up. And a long throw in, and Barbarena will score from third, and Lawrence will move over to the third base side. So they get the flyouts, and Jimmy will get on board. Well, actually, the sacrifice fly will bring one over. They get the 8th run. And Manavong looks at a ball. The count's 1-0. Lawrence at third. Manavong with an opportunity here with 2 outs. Ball is low. The count goes to 2-0. Murakami on deck for the prospects. And a 3-0 count. Ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk. And Manavong will find himself on board, and runners at the corners for Dre Murakami. So Smith to face Murakami. Manavong at first, throw back over. Throw. He'll able to pull that down. Hill comes in over 6 foot on a high throw over. Smith lefty, he's got a direct line of sight over on the first base side. A long look, pitch on the way. The ball is out, the count is 1-0. So Murakami, a scoring opportunity here with 2 outs here. We're in the 5th frame. I believe hour 45, no new inning, or 7 innings, whatever happens first. As Jordan, our official scorer, ball missing out there. The count's 2-0, doing a fine job with perfect game this weekend. Keeping things in check, keeping the score official, and keeping things moving along smoothly here this afternoon. Pitch on the way, ball is low, and Manavong, thinking about it, was leaning towards second, but Harvey behind the plate able to gather quickly and no throw back. It's a 3-0 count. Jack Smith in a little bit of trouble here. The 3-0 pitch, ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Smith, and Murakami will end up. That'll load the bases. So Cameron Walters will step in with the bases loaded. Harvey goes out to the mound to talk to Smith to say, hey, settle down. He's coming in off the bench. And curveball in for the strike. A good pitch there. Count is 0-1. Brooke Jones did everything he could. He got one batter here, and then they pulled him. And that ball's back off the fence line. As I mentioned, it's concrete, so if it hits, as you can see right there, the ball literally came off of the concrete fence right back to the pitcher. Lawrence wasn't about ready to go anywhere after that. A 1-1 count. And Walters will step back in as Greg, our head umpire, puts it in play. High fly ball, second baseman gets underneath it, makes an adjustment, and the ball is dropped there. And Manavong will come in. They're going to run for Walters, and Mason Moeller will come in to run for him as Walters taking over for Victorio. And they're back to the top of the order in Charlie Blaylock. So a lefty-lefty matchup here. In the top of the fifth with 2 outs, it's a 9-1 affair. Pitch on the way. And the count is 1-0. Runners at first and second. Moeller at first, Murakami at second. Smith from the stretch tries to run it out, and the count goes to 2-0. So Smith just looking to make an adjustment. They're looking for 1 out. Prospects trying to keep the inning extended. A long look at second. Pitch on the way. Curveball in for the strike. Good movement there. And the count goes to 2-1. Murakami back to Smith, should have a routine play there, and the out is recorded. They leave 2 on, they pick a couple extras here. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth frame, 9-1 Prospects. You're enjoying the 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT here at the Oak Villa Park here in Baton Rouge. Chris Allard with the call. We will be right back. So a pitching change for the Prospects. Dre Murakami will come in for Nate White, who did a nice job for the club. Murakami will take over. Murakami, a right-handed pitcher for the club. And he'll get things started off for the Prospects here in the bottom of the fifth frame. Game number 1 of 2. It's pool play action. It's a 3-day tournament. All of these teams vying for an opportunity to get a title out of it and an automatic bid into the championships later this summer, as Murakami continues to get some warm-up tosses. Once again, excellent conditions here. Slight breeze coming in now from center field, as we're now up into the 5 p.m. hour, just a little bit after. 5:07 p.m. to be exact, 5:08 here on this Saturday afternoon. So the Knights Nation ready to go to face Murakami. Jones will lead things off. They'll go 6, 7, 8 here in the bottom of the fifth frame. So Jones steps in, we're ready to go. Murakami to deal, pitch on the way. And Murakami, he'll locate and get the outer third of the plate called. The count is 0-1. Chopped in the box, foul ball. And the count is 0-2. Ball's hit hard to the right side. Brody Taylor, a long route, and makes another grab. So Brody Taylor doing the acrobatic move here today. He already grabbed one in the fence line, literally bounced into the fence and pulled it in. Laid it out to his left and pulls it in for the out. So Brody Taylor continued to show his excellence in right field. So ball is low. Washington looks at a 2-0 count. And the ball's cut foul, straight back. Hard hit ball, this time to Brody's right. He'll pull it in. So Taylor, 2 big flyouts. Solid hits, though. Good barrels. And Washington will have a seat. So Brody Taylor taking care of business out there in right field. They're down to their final out. It's 8 after 5. Prospects leading this one 9-1. Lee will step in. He'll look at a ball. The count is 1-0. Murakami swung on left side. Lee takes a cut there. And the count goes even to 1-1. So Murakami with a 1-1 count and 2 outs. Prospects looking to close this one out. Lee and Knights Nation trying to extend the inning here. That ball misses. The count goes to 2-1. The Prospects, as I mentioned, will play 2 games here. Conclusion of this one, they'll play their second of 2 pool play games today. Murakami runs it in low and misses there. The count goes to 3-1. Jordan Leon gathers, throw across the deck is in time. That'll do it. The Prospects, they do it in a run rule. And that'll be ball game. So the Prospects, they'll win this one. And a good showing, though, for the Knights Nation Club. As the Prospect do it on a run rule, they leading this one at the bottom of the 5th, 9-1. They needed 8. They needed 2 runs to come over Knights Nation to keep it going. But the Prospects, Murakami and company, they do it. They'll take the title here in game number 1 of 2 this afternoon. Chris Alder with the call. You're enjoying the 2025 Perfect Games Super Regional NIT here, the 14U Majors Division. Players will shake hands at the mound. That's what it's all about. For now, congratulations to the ZT Prospects. I'd like to thank Gary, our head umpire, working with Steve on the infield. Jordan with Perfect Game. This one's in the books. We'll bring the next one to you live. For now, the Prospects will move on, game number 2. Hope you've enjoyed it. Come back and see us again. For now, we'll say so long. And a good afternoon, folks. Once again, we welcome you back. The 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Teams from around the country vying for an opportunity to get a title here. The 14U Majors Division. The best teams in the country being represented here. The winner gets an automatic bid into the 2025 championships later this summer. Early on, spring season for a lot of clubs, and these Super NITs are important events to participate in and get a shot at a title. As the ZT Prospects 14U national team underway here as we get ready to roll things up. This is second game for them today in pool play competition, going against the Surge Baseball Club. And the Prospects will be the home team. They'll start on the defensive side. On the hill for the Prospects, the right-hander Jimmy Stout. He'll take care of business there on the hill. Behind the plate this afternoon, catching for the club, Cameron Walters. Over in the spot on first base, Nateo Victoria over in the second base spot on the 4 spot. Charlie Blaylock, 5 position over on the third base side. Blake Barbarena, shortstop Jordan Leon, new acquisition for the Prospects and definitely showing his value. 2-run bomb for him his last game. And rounding things out over on the left side will be Dre Murakami, center field Trey Lawrence, and over on the right side, Brody Taylor. We're ready to go. And Jimmy Stout will start out with the ball. The count is 1-0 to the leadoff batter. And the ball is low. The count goes to 2-0. So Walk looks at a 3-0 count. And Jimmy Stout, a little bit of trouble here early on, facing the first batter. The 3-0 count. Stout ready to go. The 3-0 pitch, taking all the way right at Broadway. Perfect pitch up the middle, and Walk taking all the way. The count is 3-1. Ball 4, so Jimmy Stout looks at a walk, the leadoff man, and finds himself 90 feet down to first base.
529. 29.
So the 2-hitter steps in. Looks like Sully, if I can read that right. Bennett on deck for the club. The 2-hitter steps in. Victoria on first base, holding Walk on from the stretch. Walters, ball's outside, missing there. The count is 1-0. So Stout, a little bit of trouble here early on. And a ball is low. The count's 2-0. Bunt shown, runner goes, fouled off to the right side, no play there, and Walk will come back 90 feet. He was on the move, trying to bunt his guy over, getting on board, and the ball's fouled off. Runner goes. A good throw, one hopper. Walk will get in time. And batter's interference at the plate, so the runner will go back. And they're going to call batter's interference. Our head umpire does so. Batter is out at the box, and the call is made at the plate. So 1 out on an interference play at the plate. Stepping in the 3-hitter. Looks like Bennett, if I'm reading that correctly, it's kind of faded on the roster. Pitch on the way. Ball misses. The count is 1-0. Throw back over. Victoria puts on the tag, and Walk gets back. Runner goes, attempted back pick, nothing there. Walters hesitated, but walk again, coming back quickly. And Coach Carlos Avila wants to have a visit to Jimmy Stout and talk to him as there's a ball at the plate. And the count's 2-0. So struggling a little bit is uncommon for Jimmy Stout. So a 2-0 count to the three-hitter with walkover at first. Walters sets up from the stretch. Pitch on the way. And off the fence line. And Jimmy Stout, a wild pitch there, and the count is 3-0. So Stout issues a walk to walk, and he ends up at second on the pass ball there. As I mentioned, we're very shallow, and it's a concrete backing area. You see Walters had no option. The ball caromed off, but Leon in tight, a short step spot for the prospects. And just missing there, ball 4. So Jimmy Stout back-to-back walks. So the prospects. And Stout just trying to settle in here. They're going to run for...
Let's go, Tucker.
Been out. And number 22 will come in. I don't have the name of the player, so I apologize for that one. We didn't get much on the documentation from the coach. But we'll do the best we can here in the meantime. Runners at first and second. And a ball is low, and the count is 1-0. Ball's pulled, third base side, gets through. All the way down the line, here comes 1. Going hard into 3, he's going to come back in here. Here comes 2, and like that, a 2-run shot and a double. So man will step in. Start event over at second. Leon ranges up. Ball's hit to the right side, off of the first base side. Victorio having to move in, and he'll pull it down. So man flies out in foul territory to Nateo Victorio. And they pick up their first out here. Victorio is able to step into foul territory and pull it down. Start event stays at second. He got the double and 2 RBIs out of it. Ball's hit right side, just outside of the reach of Blaylock. And here comes start event rounding, and from second he'll come home. And like that, another well-hit ball. And a single and another RBI. The count score is 3-0. And 2 outs. So the prospects trying to get out of this minimal impact. And a ball is up. The count is 1-0. So a strike called on the outside. The count goes to 1-1. And a strike there, so the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on the batter, Baltimore. 7-hitter. Valerie on deck with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Strike 3 called, so Jimmy Stout and the Prospects, a little bit of trouble. Surge strikes first. They put 3 up. We'll head to the bottom of the first frame. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action. We're ready to go here. Paxton Balsamo ready to go here. Right-handed hurler for the club, facing Charlie Blaylock, the leadoff man for the Prospects, as they're here in the bottom half. They're the home team as Blaylock looks at a count of 1-0. Ball is low. The count goes to 2-0. And a strike there. Paxton relocates, and the count goes to 2-1. Ball is low, 3-1 count. So Blaylock disciplined at the plate, looking to get on board for his club. As you can see, the shadows starting to fill in here, right around home plate and out towards the field area. The 3-1 pitch, and hit by pitch there. So Charlie will end up down at first, and the leadoff man for the Prospects gets on board. The 2-hitter, Nateo Victoria, will step in, and a visit out to the bump there to talk to Paxton, and we will be right back. So Victorio steps in with Blaylock at first. Throw back over to the first base side. Charlie gets back in time. Runner goes. Throw down to 2, a high throw, a little bit offline there. And Blaylock will get in. And he'll move up 90 feet in a ball called at the plate. The count is 1-0 to Victorio. So, hit by pitch, and that might be short work for Paxton. We'll see here as another visit out to the mound, and Victorio gets on board. So back-to-back batters hit, and runners at first and second. The prospects' opportunity here. Who's the kid coming in now?
Valerie.
So a pitching change here. Paxton will have a seat, off to a little bit of a rough start. They're going to bring the other right-hander in. Gavin Valerie, who's playing center field for the club, he'll take over on the mound. We'll get his warm-up pitches here as the prospects with no outs. Bottom of the first frame. They're trying to get a man across. They trail this one 3-0. We'll be right back. And back to live action. We're ready to go here. Jordan Leon will step in with no outs. Victorio at first and Blaylock at second. Gavin Valerie takes over on the hill for Paxton. And a ball is out. The count goes to 1-0. Jordan, as I mentioned earlier, new acquisition for the prospects. Outstanding player. And looks at a fastball, and the count goes even to 1-1. So Jordan steps out, takes a look. Locked and loaded, he'll step back in. And a breaking ball in the inner part of the plate there. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Leon. And hit by pitch. So the Surge Club, the batters, 3 men on board, all hit by pitch. And Jordan gets one, a little stinger there, and gets on the hard way. The last 3 batters the Surge pitchers have faced have all been tagged, and not intentionally, but sometimes a little bit of adrenaline running hard through the veins, and things get away sometimes at the arm slot not being in the right place on delivery, and it happens. So Barberena will step in with the bases loaded as they give Jordan Leon a second. Coach Rick Martinez down on the first base side for the prospects is taking a look at his guy. And of course, Gary, our head umpire, making sure everybody's good to go. He'll reset the table. We're good. Barberena will step in. We're in the bottom of the first. And inside pitch there, tight. Valerie comes in. The count's 1-0. And hard line drive right to the first baseman, just like that. And Barberina would like to have that back. A good reach and good extension over on the first base side. Studevart, who got the double and the runs across in the top half, gets the double play there. And a 1-1 count. And a strike called there on the inside part of the plate. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes on Lawrence. Victoria and Blaylock at second and third, respectfully. And hit on the inside part of the leg there, so another runner getting on board with hit by pitch. That'll be the fourth base runner. And Brody Taylor will step in with 2 outs. Barberena hit right to the first baseman, Studevart. Line drive, that was the out, and then tagged the runner. And Lawrence gets tagged there and finds himself on board with the bases loaded again for Taylor and 2 outs. Righty-lefty matchup. Valerie steps off. He'll reset. Taylor locked and loaded. And a ball is up, a good grab behind the plate. And the count is 1-0 and time is called. And Taylor, check swing in tight, got jammed there. And not able to get the bat pulled back quick enough and fouls it off. The count goes to 1-1. So 2 outs, bottom of the first. Prospects with an opportunity here with 2 down. Bennett sets up outside. Pitch on the way. Taylor, high flyer. That ball's in the gap. And a center fielder's coming a long way. The left fielder backs up and the ball's dropped. Here comes one. Taylor's going to go into second. And he's on his way to third. He'll be in with a triple. So Taylor takes advantage of it. The ball was in and out of the glove, it looks like, on the left field side. And then they took a second to bring it in. Taylor ends up at third in 2 shots, so they clear it. So Taylor clears the bases, and we're at an even 3-3 tie. And stepping in, Jimmy Stout. So Stout will step in with Taylor at third. And hit by pitch. So Jimmy Stout gets on board. And Brandon Manavong will step in. So they're going to run for Jimmy. And Mason Moeller will step in on the bases for Stout over on the first base side. Manavong looks down the line to Coach Trey with Brody Taylor at third. Martinez coaching over on the first base side. Valerie from the stretch. Bennett sets up. Ball's upstairs. The count goes to 1-0. Home plate started to be shaded in, as you can see on your screens at home, wherever you're watching. And the ball's out. Bennett with a good grab. And the count goes to 2-0. As you've seen early on in some of the other games and situations where we're very shallow in a concrete back area, the ball can go anywhere if it gets past you as a catcher. So these guys are putting a lot out here today, just keeping things out in front. The 2-0 pitch, ball's upstairs, the count goes to 3-0. So Manavong with a 3-0 count. The 3-0 pitch, ball's outside, ball 4. So Manavong gets on board with a walk. And Dre Murakami will step in. We're at a 3-3 tie on Brody Taylor. Went deep to the left side in the gap. Left fielder made a move on it, but not able to pull it in. And that cleared the bases. So Murakami looks at the count is 1-0. And a ball up, the count goes to 2-0. And a pitch is low, the count goes to 3-0. So Murakami being very patient at the plate with the bases loaded and a 3-0 count. Valerie still working from the stretch. And a strike thrown there. So Valerie locates. And Murakami taking all the way. The count goes to 3-1. Murakami, one hopper in and out of the glove on the shortstop side. Here comes Brody Taylor in 1. Manavong on his way to third, and here comes Mason Moeller, and like that, Murakami takes advantage of the play being thrown in, and they'll bring across 2. So Murakami in with the double, and the prospects will go ahead here, picking up runs 4 and 5. So a 2-shot RBI double for Dre Murakami, and Cameron Walters will step in. Walters hitting in the 10 spot for the prospects with 2 outs, and Manavong over at third. And Manavong at third base, as I mentioned. Walters looks at ball 1. Count is 1-0. Walters will step out as Valerie will reset. And another hit by pitch there. That's the 6th batter that's been hit here. And Walters down the line 90 feet will bring up Charlie Blaylock back to the top of the order. They're going to run for Walters. Mason Moeller will step back over to first base as Walters is catching for the club. So they'll run for him. So Blaylock will step in. Back to the top with 2 outs. Gary puts it in play. We're ready to go. And a strike outside. Valerie locates. He'll work ahead. The count is 0-1. And another strike outside. Bennett doing a good job. presenting there. Well pitched, and the count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Pass ball at home. Manavong's going to have to get down quickly and safe at home. So Manavong gets underneath the tag. Valerie came off the mound quickly. Bennett released very quickly out of the pop. And a bang-bang play at home, but Manavong gets in underneath the tag. So they pick up their 6th there, and the count is 1-2. And a ball is out. The count goes to 2-2. And Charlie takes a cut, pulls it foul. And the count holds at 2-2 as Blaylock looked like he may have tagged himself. Foul ball caroming off of, looks like his left leg, shaking it off a bit. We're at a 2-2 count holding here. Mueller at second, Murakami at third. And the count goes to 3-2. So a full count on Blaylock. And a ball is low, ball 4. So Blaylock gets on board. And this brings up Monster Victorio. With 2 outs, Prospects moved ahead at 6-3. And Victorio will step in. And a strike on the inner third of the plate. Victorio lays off. The count is 0-1. Valerie will work ahead. And the Surge Club looking to get out of the inning with the bases loaded. Prospects have been able to charge back. It's a 6-3 affair. And a strike up in the zone on the outer half. And Victoria looks at an 0-2 count. And a ball just missing outside. Bennett set up outside. Framed it in, but out a bit. The count is 1-2. Now Victoria looking to square something up with men in scoring position. The 1-2 pitch. Ball is low. Bennett keeps it out in front. Good stop there and a 2-2 count. Heading just a little past the 6 p.m. hour here. And a ball out. Bennett pulled it in, trying to get a call there. And the count goes full at 3-2. With a 3-2 pitch to Victorio. Bases loaded. Victorio, high fly ball, center fielder backing up. Should have a play on it, having to adjust to come forward. And a good grab. So took a step back first and made the adjustment. An excellent play. They leave 3, but they move ahead here in the bottom of the first frame. The ZT Prospects, 14U national team leading this one, 6-3. We'll be right back. We're through 1 frame. Well, we're ready to go here to start the top of the second. Prospects moving ahead in the bottom half. And we're ready to get things underway here. Surge Baseball, they'll go 8, 9, 10 here. Valerie will start things off. They had a good first inning at bat on the offensive side, striking, bringing 3 over. And Jimmy Stout runs it on the inner third of the plate, gets the call. The count goes to 0-1. Ball's hit to Stout. He's going to have to make the toss over. He does in time to Victorio. 1-3 on the putout on the official scorecard. And they get their first out on the books. So Stout takes care of it. Johnson will step in. High fly ball. Brody Taylor, and a little bit of confusion there. Actually, Jordan Leon had to turn around and look away from the ball, but that ball really dropped in between both of them as he went into the first cut of grass there. And board with a single. The 10-hitter, Moberly will step in, righty-lefty matchup. Johnson over on the first base side. Victoria will hold him on. From the stretch, throw across. As Moberly steps back in. Another throw back over to the first base side. Tag on. Johnson back in time. Shadows filling in the home plate area. You can see on your screens. Pitch on the way. Ball low. The count goes to 1-0. Jordan, they go one there. Across the deck is safe at first. A good play. Down the line quickly was Moberly. Moberly flew down the line. But a good attempt, though, to convert it. They get the advancing runner in Johnson. And back to the top, Walk will step in. And a strike. Good pitch there for Jimmy Stout. He'll work ahead. The count's 0-1. 2 outs, top of the second. Runner goes. Good throw down the line, but safe at second. Moberly moves up 90 feet. And an 0-2 count. Manavong shuffling around Moberly. He'll step back and shortstop position. Manavong in tight. Walters sets up the 0-2 pitch. Right side, a hard hit ball, and that'll drop in. Brody, they're coming home. A long throw in. They let it come in. The tag is not there. And Moberly, with good wheels, comes around from second. And a well-hit ball for Walk. On board with a single. And they pick up their 4th run. Sutton will step in. With Walk over on the first base side and 2 outs. Left field, ball shallow. Manavong's rolling off. And the ball drops in. Murakami to third. And they back it up there. There's no play, but a broken play there. Manavong was ranging up. He released from shortstop as Murakami was coming straight up from left field. And I'm not sure what happened there, but the ball dropped between them. And a little confusion there, so they take advantage of it. like that, runners in a position here to score again for the Surge Club. Coach Ortiz out to the bump. Things are getting interesting. Stay with us. So Bennett steps in with runners at second and third and 2 outs. And Bennett looks at ball 1. The count is 1-0. And a strike located. Stout runs it low and gets a strike called on the outer third of the plate. And a good pitch there, same pitch, locating. And the count is 1-2, so Stout and the prospects trying to get out of this thing with limited damage. Surge on the other side trying to score again. And strike 3 called. So Jimmy Stout deals. And they'll turn the side over. They add on, though. They pick up 1. They leave a couple on board. It's 6-4. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Stay with us. You're enjoying the 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're at the Oak Villa Park facility, an outstanding location. If you've never had an opportunity to compete here, I'd highly encourage. Come on out, check it out. Weather's perfect. It's ideal conditions here, and Perfect Game putting on this Super Regional NIT. Chris Allard with the call. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action. We're ready to go here at the bottom of the second. Prospects will step in. Jordan Leon will start things off for the club. Prospects will go 3, 4, 5 here in the bottom half. Jordan looks at ball 1. The count is 1-0. And Jordan takes a cut there at the plate, fouls it off. And the count goes to 1-1. And a good pitch there. Like a slider. And the count goes to 1-2. Leon right side, shallow. Ball can drop in right side, and right fielder makes a good play there. So a good grab over on the right side. Sutton pulls it in. And a shallow fly for Jordan Leon, and they pick up their first out here in the bottom of the second. Stepping in, Blake Barberena. Prospects, their last at bat, brought 6 over. And the ball's pulled foul. Count is 0-1. Valerie settling in a bit here. He picked up where Paxton had started, and they had put 6 men on, hit by pitch. And he did go, and the count is 0-2. And the Prospects were able to capitalize on that with a couple of walks to boot and some good hitting, a few defensive mistakes, but settling in here. Ball just missing out. The count goes to 1-2. Prospects, as I mentioned, picked up 6 in the first. And 1 out with a 1-2 count on Barberena. Barberena right to the third baseman. That's in and out of the glove. And they're going to say, did he catch the ball in play? And I think that's what Coach Carlos is looking at, is did the ball hit the glove in play?
He played that fair.
So the call will hold at the plate, called foul. Looked like the third baseman had perhaps made contact to infield play, but nonetheless, here he makes the call, and it's fouled off. The count holds it a ball and 2 strikes. And a ball missing out. The count goes to 2-2 to Barberena. And a ball in, the count goes full at 3-2. So Barberena, as Valerie comes in on him, not biting on that pitch, and a full count. And ball 4. So Barberena will find himself down to first base. Gets on board there, and that'll bring up Trey Lawrence with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Well, about 18 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the 2025 Super Regional NIT. Lawrence steps in. Barberena at first. Valerie ready to deal. Ball's up, and the count is 1-0. And on the move, that's a good throw down the line, and that gets into center field. And checking back up is Barberena, as a second baseman came across to grab it just off the top of his glove, went into center field shallow, but good defensive coverage, and Barberena will stay parked at second. So a ball called at the plate for Lawrence. It's 2-0 count. Defense is ranged up. Second baseman off the bag, kind of shuffling around. And jammed on the inside. And the ball's fouled off. The count goes to 2-1. And a ball out. Bennett having to reach out to his right as to keep that from getting past him as a brick backstop. It's about 3 feet tall. Ball can go anywhere if it gets past the catcher. And another good grab there. So on board, Trey Lawrence finds himself 90 feet down to first with a walk. So Valerie issues that walk, and Brody Taylor will step in with runners at first and second. Coach Ronnie taking over down there on first base. Skipper Carlos likes to shuffle his coaches around. Ronnie, pitching coach for the club. Coach Eric Ortiz does a lot of the pitch calling for the organization, and Valerie takes a long look from the stretch. Taylor, hard hit to the right side, pulled foul. So a little housekeeping work for Bennett behind home plate, getting his cleats laced back up. Good to go there. And Gary says, okay, we're good. We'll reset the table. We're ready to go. He puts it in play. Valerie ready to go. And still from the stretch, runners at first and second. Lawrence Barberena, pitch on the way. The ball out, the count goes to 1-1. And the count goes to 2-1 as Taylor laying off there. As shortstop Stevenson in the back pocket there for Barberena. Pitch on the way. The ball is up as Bennett comes out of the pop there. And the count is 3-1. In ball four, Brody Taylor gets on board with a walk. And that'll bring up Jimmy Stout. Time is called, visit out to the bump. And that possibly just trying to slow things down. The coach heads out, talk to his guys. And we'll give him a minute. We'll be right back. Bases loaded, one out, bottom of the second. Prospects leading this game number 2, the 2025 perfect game. Super Regional NIT. Chris Allard with the call. We hope you've enjoyed it throughout the course of the tournament so far. We'll continue to bring you live broadcasts all the way up till Championship Monday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action. Gary will put it in play as Jimmy Stout will step in for the prospect. 6-4, bases loaded, and one out from the bottom of the second. And Bennett, good stop there, and the count is 1-0. And Bennett behind Jimmy Stout. Stout stayed put in the box. And the trajectory on that ball, again, just getting away from Valerie. But Bennett made a good grab, and the count's 2-0. Could have perhaps caromed off this concrete wall. And a ball is out. The count is 3-0. So a 3-0 count to Jimmy Stout being patient at the plate. Valerie and the Surge crew looking for an out. Bases loaded. The 3-0 pitch. Strike called there. Stout taking all the way. Valerie with good adjustment. Locates his pitch there. And still a hitter's count for Jimmy Stout. And in tight, strike called on the inner third. Stout check swing, but the strike called at the plate. The count goes full at 3-2. Stout, pop up in foul territory, and the catcher makes a move there. Bennett comes out, and Stout would like to have that back, and they get their second out on a pop up in foul territory just right off the plate. Bennett didn't have to go too far and was able to pull that one in. So Manavong will step in with 2 outs. Manavong, left side. Left fielder backing up, making the adjustment under the ball. He'll pull it in. The prospects, they lead 3. Valerie and the Surge crew. They get out of it. We'll head to the bottom, top of third. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Well, as we head to the top of the third, the prospects leading this one 6-4. All their runs came in their first at bat in the bottom of the first frame. Surge striked initially. In their first inning, they had scored 3 and brought one over in the last half of the second. We're in the top of the third. Henry Kuhnsteller, right-handed hurler for the club, will take over. So Kuhnsteller takes care of business. Coach Ortiz checking in with Jordan, our perfect game scorer here, doing a fine job throughout the course of the weekend. These guys keep things in track and keep things moving along. So Kuhnsteller, he'll take some warm-ups. We'll be ready to roll. So as we get ready to start here in the top of the third, they'll go 4, 5, 6. Studevart will step in. Facing Kuhnsteller for the first time. Gary puts it in play. We're ready to go. Top of 3. Kuhnsteller, good looking pitch there. Locates. He'll start ahead. The count is 0-1. Third base, good gather there. Across the deck, a nice throw. And like that, an excellent play, Jordan Leon. So 5-3 put out over on the third base side. So Leon takes care of the first out. Leon to Victorio at 5-3 if you're scoring it officially. Stepping in. The batter, Mann. And Mann looks at a 1-0 count, takes a cut there, fouls it straight back. And the count goes to 1-1. Mann hits in the 5 spot. Kuhnsteller, well hit ball, left side, backing up. Murakami right to him. Didn't have to go far for that, but a good barrel for Mann. hits it to Murakami over on the left side for the Prospects. They pick up their second out. So 2 down, and the 6-hitter Stevenson will step in. Good pitch there, starting ahead. The count is 0-1. So the count goes to 1-1. Coach Ortiz sequencing the pitches here. The 1-1 count. Slider again for the strike. The count goes to 1-2. So a changeup and 2 sliders puts Kuhnsteller ahead here. And a ball missing out and low. The count goes to 2-2. So Stevenson staying patient here with a 2-2 count and 2 outs. And a ball bouncing there. The count goes full to 3-2. So the fastball at 82 bounces there, and the count goes full at 3-2. And swing and a miss there. That'll do it. Strike 3. Kuhnsteller. He dials up, and they're able to get the out.
I don't want to say too much since I have DNA with it, but that was... No, it wasn't. So thank you.
So the Prospects will head to the bottom of the third. They lead this one 6-4. We will be right back.
We even got Jay Money this year. You never smile, do you? You live your whole life and don't smile.
Well, we're ready to go. Back to live action. Murakami looks at ball 1. The count's 1-0. We're in the bottom of the third. Prospects leading this one 6-4. Dre ready to go. Pitch on the way. The ball is up. 2-0 count. Murakami hitting in the 9 spot. They go 9-10-1 here in the bottom of the third. And a strike located there. Valerie makes the adjustment. The count goes to 2-1. And Murakami finds himself on board. And Dre will head down 90 feet to first, and that'll bring up Cameron Walters. As the shadows have filled in here all the way around home plate and into the third base side and a little bit over on the first base side. Lighten your picture up for you a little bit for you folks at home. And we're ready to go. Walters steps in, Murakami at first. Back pick, throw to first, tag is on, and Murakami gets back in time, our infield umpire. Steve makes the call, we're good there. Walters right side, out of play. The count is 0-1. Walters steps out, he'll reload as he steps back in. Murakami with a modest lead at first. From the stretch, pitch on the way. And the count goes to 1-1. Correction, 1-2 the count. And Murakami down at first, will go back. Walters takes a cut and fouls it straight back. And the count holding here at 1-2. Runner goes, ball outside, a good throw down to second, and in time. And Murakami shuts it down and just grabs the bag with the backside of his hands. And he'll move up 90 feet and a ball called at the plate. The count goes to 2-2. So Walters steps back in with no outs and a 2-2 count in the bottom of the third frame. Runner on the move to third, the throw down, strike called, and that ball gets away. Murakami's going to have to get down. He's in trouble now, but able to check back up. He was on the move like he was going to try to come home, but third baseman was able to gather quickly, and Murakami came back. So a strike called at the plate. And Charlie Blaylock will step in with one out. Murakami at third, opportunity for the prospects to add on here. Ball's hit to the left side, right to the left fielder, tagging up. Long throw in, and they let that come in at home, and he's out at home plate. So the throw had curved right into the glove of Bennett. He was up the line about a foot or so, and it was a one hop into his glove, and it was right there on the tag. So a good effort nonetheless, but a great defensive play as they cut it and fired it in. It was a great defensive effort for the Surge. We'll turn it over. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, we are ready to go here as Kuhnsteller will stay on the mound for the prospects. As coach heads down to third for Team Surge, and we are ready to go. Balsamo steps in and looks at a ball. The count's 1-0. 7-8-9 for Surge baseball here in the fourth. Fastball getting away. And Balsamo will step in. Fastball upstairs. And the count's 2-0. And a ball missing out. And a 3-0 count to Balsamo. Kuhnsteller, 4-pitch walk. And the leadoff hitter gets on board, Balsamo. They bring up the 8-hitter, Valerie. Valerie, the pitcher of record, staying in for Surge, will step into the box. Victoria over on the first base side for the prospects. Balsamo with a modest lead over on the first base position. From the stretch, Kuhnsteller. Count is 1-0. Coach Ortiz calling the pitches for Kuhnsteller. And ball locating there. Change up at 78. Count goes to 1-1. And a strike. It's the outside part of the zone. And the count is 1-2. And a same location, strike 3 call. So Balsamo. Correction, Valerie will have a seat in the K there for Kuhnsteller. Johnson will step in. Balsamo over on first. Strike there, and the count goes to 0-1. 77-mile-an-hour changeup. Henry working from the stretch, looks over at first base. A long hold here. Pitch on the way. Fastball. Popped up, out of play. And the count is 0-2. So Johnson steps back in with an 0-2 count. Slider in there for the strike 3 call, so good movement there for Kuhnsteller. And Henry will pick up the K. Moberly will step in. And ball just missing there up. And just a little bit out, the count's 1-0. Balsamo over at first for Surge. Victoria holds him on. Tag is on, back in time. Steve, our infield umpire. We're working with Gary behind the plate as the shadows are filling in here. As we're heading towards the 7 p.m. hour, just about 15 minutes until that point. Pitch on the way. Ball is low, and the count goes to 2-0. Lights are coming on, but it takes a moment for those things to fire up. We're not quite dark yet. Good pitch on the inner half there. Strike called. Count is 2-1. a good pitch there, just missing on the inner third. And a little low and inside. And the count goes to 3-1.
Maybe like 2 or balls.
So a 3-1 count. And miss there, so Moberly will find himself down to first base and move over Balsamo. And runners at first and second. So a walk administered there. And that'll bring up Walk back to the top of the order. So Walk will step in. And it's a 6-4 affair here in the top of the fourth. Walk steps back out. Kunsteller will reset. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. Prospects looking to get out of this one. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss there. Slider. And the count is 0-1. And pitch just missing. And the count goes to 1-1. And a ball's pulled foul to the third base side. Walk takes a stroke there. And Kunsteller with a 1-2 count on him. And trying to get out of the inning here. The ball and 2 strikes. Walk steps back in. And Walk just able to connect there to foul it off, and he'll stay alive at a ball and 2 strikes. And a ball low. The count goes even to 2-2. Ball's hit into the gap. That's a well-hit ball. And that drops in. They're going to do a long throw in. And backing it up. And they'll tie up here. The run will score, though. And the out called on the field at first base. So the run will score. It came across before the out at first. And they'll pick up their 5th here. So the Prospects, they get out of that one. And it's a 6-5 affair. We'll head to the bottom half. Stay with us. We'll be back. How much time do we have left? 25 minutes. 25 minutes, okay. You might want to let them know that, Henry. 25 minutes? We got a lot of time. Okay. And back to live action. We are ready to roll here, and we continue on. We're in the bottom of the fourth. The prospects will get on the offensive side, and Mateo Monster Victorio will start things off. The prospects will go 2-3-4 here in the bottom of the fourth. Valerie stays on the hill. We're ready to go. Victorio takes a cut, fouls it straight back as Coach Ronnie heads down to first. And the count is 0-1. Gary, our head umpire, puts it in play, doing a fine job here today working with Steve on the infield. And a ball is up. The count goes even to 1-1. Temperatures cooling off a bit here as the sun goes down. Still excellent baseball weather, and that ball is low, and the count is 2-1. Lights coming on for the evening games. I believe there's still some games scheduled. Right now the prospects are trying to close out game number 2. Valerie to deal, pitch on the way. Victorio left side, cut foul and out of play. And the count goes to 2-2. And the count goes full to 3-2 to Victorio. And Victorio swinging a miss, strike 3 there. Valerie gets the K. And that'll bring up Jordan Leon. So Jordan steps in. And a ball missing up. The count's 1-0. And a strike there. Valerie able to make the adjustment and locates. And the count goes to 2-1 on Jordan Leon. And a ball out. The count goes to 3-1. On deck for the prospects, Blake Barbarena. Leon like to try to get on here as the contest is a 6-5 affair. Prospects in the bottom of the fourth. And a strike outside. Leon thought he was on board, and the count goes to 3-2. And jammed inside there, and Jordan was able to get the barrel on it. Luckily it didn't get his hands. He was trying to get out of the box, and we'll reset at 3-2. And ball 4, low and out. So Leon finds himself on board, and Barbarena will step in. So a visit out to the bump. Stay with us. Barbarena steps in with 1 out. Leon at first. We'll be right back. Well, we're ready to go here with Leon at first. Barberena steps in. Righty-lefty matchup. Valerie from the stretch. And a ball's fouled off and out of play. Sturdivart over at first for Surge, holding Leon on. And the count is 0-1 to Barberena. And a ball missing out. The count goes even to 1-1. And a ball on the field, time's called. So Valerie steps back on, ready to go. Barberena locks in. It's a 1-1 count with one out, bottom of the fourth. Runner goes. A good throw down, a one hopper, and that gets into center field. And thinking about it, Leon was considering getting to third as that ball got through into shallow center field. They brought it in quickly. No option there for him. Ball at the plate, the count's 2-1. We're right at the 7 p.m. hour, another baseball on the field. And Barberena steps back in with a 2-1 count. Stevenson in short, tight on Jordan Leon. Pitch on the way. Well hit ball, right side, that ball's deep. Right fielder backing up a long route, and that ball is in play to the fence line. And he's saying that the ball's trapped there, but the run will come across. The Barberena will go back, but Leon will score. So Barberena will head back to second. Jordan Leon will score. And that'll lock in as a ground rule double, the ball being buried underneath the fence and the right side. So they pick up their seventh here in the bottom of the fourth. And Trey Lawrence will step in. Ball's up, the count's 1-0.
I think you can get the one that's trapped.
And Lawrence hit by pitch there. Trey gets tagged. He'll get there the hard way and find himself over on first base with runners at first and second and Brody Taylor. So Taylor will step in with one out. So Gary puts it in play, and we are ready to roll here. Taylor steps in, first and second, prospects runners in position to score here. Pitch on the way. The ball is out, the count is 1-0. What number? Time is called. It's granted at the box. So Gary grants time to Taylor. And Taylor steps out. Runners go. Swing and a miss. Throw down to third. Taylor's in. So Barberena gets into second. Or correction, at third with a stolen base. Everybody moved up. Trey Lawrence over at second. It's 1-1 count. So Taylor with a 1-1 count. Lawrence at second, Barberena at third. Ball's pulled foul. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Brody Taylor. And a ball up, and the count goes to 2-2. We're just slightly past the 7 p.m. hour. 7:02 p.m. to be precise. And a 2-2 count with 1 out. Bennett sets up. Hard hit ball, center fielder backing up. That ball is deep. Good adjustment, makes the grab, pulls it in, but tagging up from third is Barberena. And Brody Taylor, sacrifice fly, gets the run over in Barberena, and Lawrence will move over to third. So they pick up their 8th run here in the bottom of the 4th, and that'll do it for Valerie, I believe. May have met the maximum number of pitches. So a pitching change for the Surge. Stevenson will come on. So Bryce Stevenson takes over for Surge here and will face Jimmy Stout. And Stout hitting in the 7 spot for the Prospects. And Trey Lawrence parked at third. They picked up a couple of here. It's 8-5. And a ball, count is 1-0. And a strike outside. And the count goes 1-1. Stevenson evens things up. And ball fouled in the box. Right off of Jimmy Stout's foot. And the count goes to 1-2. So a 1-2 count for Jimmy Stout as he steps back in. Bottom of the fourth, Prospects leading 8-5. Pitch on the way. That ball is low. The count goes to 2-2. 2 outs. Jimmy Stout, right side, cuts it foul and out of play. So Stout will stay in. The 2-2 count on him. As Stout looking for an opportunity to extend here in the bottom of the fourth frame. It's an 8-5 affair so far. And Stout ready to go. Bennett sets up. Pitch on the way. The ball is out. The count goes full at 3-2. Trey Lawrence parked at third. And a full count here. So the 3-2 pitch for Stevenson. Chopped down the third baseline, foul and out of play. So Stevenson resets. Stout will step back in. The 3-2 count again. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 low. So Jimmy Stout will get on board with a walk. And the Prospects will have runners at the corners. And that'll bring up Brandon Manavong. Manavong with an opportunity here. It's an 8-5 affair. Prospects in the bottom of the fourth frame. So Manavong ready to go. And a pass ball, and checking up at third was Trey Lawrence. He was on the move and then hesitated. Bennett came out quickly out of the pop and was able to gather the ball, and Lawrence backed up. Stout moved over to second with a 1-0 count on Manavong. Runners at second and third. And a balk there, so everybody will move up 90 feet. Trey Lawrence will touch home. They pick up their 9th. And Jimmy Stout will move over to third. A no pitch, the count's at 1-0. And Manavong lays off. The count goes to 2-0. Right side. Right fielder backing up. That ball's tailing. That ball drops in. Manavong with good speed. They throw it in. They'll cut it to second, and Manavong in with a double. So Manavong gets in the act and goes to the right side and finds himself on board with a double and an RBI. And the Prospects picking up their 10th here. And Dre Murakami will step in. Gary puts it in play, our head umpire. A lot of shuffling on the shortstop side. Manavong. And locating on the outside part of the plate. Stevenson works ahead. The count is 0-1. And strike 2 there. So back to back. As Murakami laying off, not liking what he sees there. And strike 3 call. Murakami gets caught looking there. And Stevenson will get the K. But the Prospects, they move it to 10. It's a 10-5 affair. We'll be right back. Well, the lights are on us here. A beautiful setting this evening here, just outside of Louis Armstrong Airport in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Chris Aller with the call. It's been a great day of baseball so far. Day number 1, the 2025 perfect game Super Regional NIT here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the Oak Villa Sports Park. A great location. If you've never played here, I would highly encourage you to come and play an event. Perfect Game puts on tournaments around the country, and great location. As we're in the 14U Majors division here, and early on in the 2025 season. Winner of this event gets an automatic bid into the national championships at the end of the summer. But for more information, go to perfectgame.org. Learn about events in your area, showcases, different tournaments taking place throughout the 2025 season. As we're well into baseball here, we're ready to go as Cameron Walters will send it down to second. And we'll get things started off here in the top of the 5th frame. Prospects leading this one, 10-5. So Sutton will step in. Sutton hits in the 2 spot. They go 2-3-4 here. In the top of the 5th, Prospects leading. So Sutton steps in. Gary puts it in play. We're ready to go. Third base side, good backhand grab. Barbarena throw across is in time. So 5-3 put out. Barbarena with a good glove there across to Victorio, and 1 down. Bennett, the 3-hitter, will step in with 1 out. And the ball is up. The count's 1-0. Taylor doing some pitching here for the club. Some outstanding defensive plays earlier. Diving catches, really showing his stuff in right field. And on the mound now in a 1-1 call. A strike on the outside. So Bennett steps back in with a 1-1 count and 1 out. Top of the 5th. Walters sets up. And just missing inside, Taylor comes in low. And the count goes to 2-1. And a strike called there. Taylor runs it up and out, gets the outer part of the plate called up in the zone. The count goes to 2-2. And strike 3 called there. So Taylor dials up the K. And Studemart will step in. The 2 outs. And Studemart will step in. And that gets away from Taylor. And the count is 1-0. And a ball is up. The count is 2-0. And a ball missing just out. And a 3-0 count to Studemart. Two outs. Studemart probably taking all the way here. And a strike located for Brody Taylor. And the count goes to 3-1. And swing and a miss there. Taylor goes to a full count. Sturdivart missing there. The count goes full with 2 outs. And swing and a miss, strike 3. Brody Taylor does it, comes in and takes care of business. And that'll do it. Ball game. The Prospects, they take this one in 5 innings. They win this one 10-5 over the Surge Baseball Organization, a good club. They'll continue on as time expired here. And the Prospects, they go back-to-back here in day 1 of pool play action, the 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT. Chris Aller with the call. Sportsmanship as always. Players and coaches shaking hands. And the Prospects and, of course, Surge Baseball will continue to roll on throughout the tournament. We'll bring you games throughout the next couple of days, all the way up till Championship Monday. For now, we'll say so long from the Oak Villa Sports Park here just in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's been a great day of baseball. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Thank you.